Dallas Global TV 1, Yella Beezy trial update. New court filings reveal the evidence Texas prosecutors are asking a judge to allow in the capital murder case involving the 2020 killing of Mo 3. According to the state, prosecutors want to introduce Instagram live videos, rap lyrics and diss tracks, social media posts, music video photos, witness testimony outlining the alleged feud. Prosecutors argue the evidence establishes motive, intent, and the history of the alleged feud. The defense is seeking to exclude much of this material from trial. These allegations made by prosecutors in court filings, they have not been proven in court, and Marquis Yella Beezy Conway has pleaded not guilty and is presumed innocent unless proven guilty. Today's video, we're going to see exactly if they proved all of this shit by what they're saying. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down all the pieces of evidence that they're trying to post up and see if this shit actually works. Let's go. Procedural background. On November 11, 2020, at approximately 11:59 a.m., Melvin Noble, the decedent, was shot multiple times and killed traveling on South R-Rail Thornton Freeway. IH-35E, the state previously published to this court dash camera video footage capturing the masked individual wielding an AK-style assault rifle carrying out the murder in broad daylight. There is no such thing as an assault rifle. Anyways, on March 18, 2025, a Dallas County grand jury indicted defendant Conway for first-degree felony offense of capital murder for remuneration. The indictment alleged the following: that Marquis Conway, hereinafter called defendant, on or about the 11th day of November 2020 in the Dallas County or County of Dallas, state of Texas, did then and there intentionally and knowingly caused the death of Melvin Noble, an individual hereinafter called deceased, by employing Kawan White to murder deceased for remuneration and the promise of remuneration, namely United States currency, from defendant, and pursuant to said agreement, Kawan White did then and there intentionally and knowingly cause the death of the said deceased by shooting deceased with a firearm, a deadly weapon. On February 17, 2026, the state filed an amended notice of extraneous evidence and brief supporting the admission of extraneous evidence and other evidence pursuant to Texas Rules of Evidence 401, 403, and 404B. The Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 38.36 or 36, the state's amended notice included a timeline which set out a series of events, online media posts, and corresponding music release that depict the history and retaliatory nature of the feud between defendant Conway and his associates and the defendant Melvin Noble and his associates that ultimately led to the capital offense charged in this case. The state also provided defendant Conway with a second neural timeline outlining the specific events, online media posts, and music releases that the state will seek to admit or discuss through witness testimony during its case in chief. They're trying to build a bridge, but a narrative is never really evidence. You could basically say anything. Why the chicken crossed the road? Why the hell don't eggs taste like chicken? Or whatever the hell the case may be. Ceddy Nash, man, big boy status. But that's not enough, man. And I'm trying to understand in this filing what exactly they're going to do, because if what they say in the beginning is what they have, that still don't sound good enough to me. Summary of evidence. In 2017, man, what? Okay. The ATF conducted an investigation into numerous acts of criminal violence involving rap music artists, associates of record labels, Profit Music Group, PMG, and its affiliate record labels, Get Rich Cartel, GRC, and Cool Money Entertainment. Man, okay, they don't say nothing about no gang shit, but all right. And the record label Hit Squad Music. That sounds a little, whatever the hell. But the cartel shit, I can see that. So that doesn't sound biased. I ain't one of those. Anyways, from 2017 to the death of the decedent, Melvin Noble, a.k.a. Mo 3, HXM, the ATF observed an escalating feud between the Dallas artists and their associates, in which social media posts and released rap diss tracks matched the violence occurring on the streets between the parties. Part of this escalation included Dallas rap artists for the first time rapping about placing bounties on rivals, and in some cases naming or alluding to specific individuals. In September 2018, Roy Lee Pate, a Dallas comedian and friend of the decedent, was assaulted, shot, and later died due to complications from his gunshot wound. Law enforcement testimony will show that the shooting investigation is unsolved, and there is no evidence that defendant Conway, a.k.a. Yella Beezy, was involved in the shooting. So why the hell are y'all bringing it up? However, other witness testimony, video exhibits show media interviews and the decedent's own music release 219 will show that the rap industry and the decedent believed that defendant Conway and co-conspirator Devarius Moore, aka Trap Boy Freddy, hereinafter co-conspirator Moore, were involved in the shooting of Pate. Hours following the death of Pate, defendant Conway was shot multiple times while driving home. Law enforcement testimony will show that defendant Conway was informed the following day that the vehicle involved in that shooting was registered to decedent's head of security and chief enforcer. Months later, co-conspirator Moore would also be shot, and then again in September of 2020. In his music release 219, the decedent alludes to being responsible for shootings of defendant Conway and co-conspirator Moore. Following the shootings of defendant Conway and co-conspirator Moore, So if y'all remember, right, we used to have this thing when we say the feds will flood them with a bunch of evidence, a lot of discovery and all of this shit and try to see what sticks. That's essentially what they're doing. They're trying to say, let's put all this stuff together so some of this stuff comes in. The state knows that they're not going to get all this stuff in. What they're hoping to do is get some in. Now, if they just so happen to, it's going to have to be because it makes the most sense. We had to have arrests. We had to have witnesses. You got to have all of this shit for it to make sense. You can't just say, oh, well, yeah, the shooters, the rival, the Sherry, and all that. It don't work like that, brother. So let's see exactly what they think that they have. I want to say the history and I don't know. Anyways, that ultimately led to a capital offense charge in this case, as well as certain relevant statements and music releases made by the decedent. Decedent Conway and co-conspirator Moore before and after the murder. A list of state exhibits has been included in response to Appendix B. Events. A. Evidence of Roy Lee assault, shooting, and death. State witness testimony generally regarding that Roy Lee Pate, a friend and associate of the decedent, was assaulted, later shot, and died from complications of his gunshot wound on October 13, 2018. The evidence will not be presented as an extraneous offense committed by defendant Conway and therefore is not subject to Rule 404B. Rather, this evidence serves as a starting point and perceived cause of the prior ill will and hostilities between the parties. Is inextricably entwined with the charges and is central to the state's theory of motive for the murder of remuneration. B. Defendant shot on tollway. State witness testimony and exhibits showing that defendant Conway was shot multiple times while driving home on October 14, 2018, and that defendant Conway was interviewed by law enforcement the following day in which he provided statements and was informed that an associate of the decedent was the registered owner of the vehicle involved in this shooting. The evidence is not is not an extraneous offense or bad act committed by defendant Conway, and therefore not subject to Rule 404B. The evidence proves prior ill will hostilities between the parties is inextricably intertwined with the charges and is central to the state's theory of motive for the murder for remuneration. Co-conspirator Moore shot in his Sprinter van. Oh, shit, yeah, I remember that one. State witness testimony and exhibits showing that co-conspirator Moore was shot while parked in his Sprinter van on December 26, 2018. The evidence is not an extraneous offense or bad act committed by defendant Conway and therefore not subject to Rule 404B. This evidence proves prior ill will and hostilities between the parties is inextricably intertwined with the charges and is central to the state's theory for motive for the murder for remuneration. But this is stupid because y'all are saying y'all know all these other cats did this shit and y'all decided to do nothing, which is insane because it more so sounds like the state and the ATF just let them do this shit. You know what would work out better if all of these shootings and all this shit was true is if he was a leader. He's not even accused of doing any of this shit. He's really accused of being shot. And y'all not doing anything. Was Yella Beezy's not Yella Beezy, was Mo3's head honcho? Was he charged? Was he convicted? Did he confess like, bruh, it's been static and all this shit? No, you don't have any of that. So I just find it odd how so far we're not seeing anything. Now they keep on saying witnesses and all this shit, but what are the witnesses exactly going to do? Because you would need a witness to say, I'm a part of the gang. Yella Beezy's the leader. Yella Beezy had money on this day, this day, this day, and you're bringing it in per snitch code. Per informant or whatever the hell you want to call them. So there's that. Defendant Conway's Instagram live post. Video exhibit of defendant Conway's July 28, 2019 Instagram live social media post discussing the incident at the Unruly Citizens concert. These statements are party admissions that prove ill will and prior hostilities between the parties, are contextual evidence of the feud, and prove defendant Conway's motive for the murder. B, defendant Conway's Instagram live post of murder. Okay. The video exhibit of defendant Conway's November 11, 2020 Instagram live social media post. The video exhibit proves ill will and prior hostilities between the parties. Is contextual evidence of the feud and proves defendant Conway's motive and state of mind near the time of the murder. I'm asking the question, how? What part of that? Or what was said in the Instagram live? He better have a hell of a confession. Defendant Conway's Instagram live postcard. Video exhibit. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. Video exhibit of defendant Conway's December 15, 2020 Instagram live social media post regarding a call from co-conspirator Moore playing Laugh Now for defendant Conway. The exhibit contains both party admissions and statements made by a co-conspirator during and the furtherance of a conspiracy. The video exhibit proves ill will and prior hostilities between the parties, is contextual evidence regarding the feud and conspiracy, and proves their motives and states of mind, including the defendant's consciousness of guilt. I don't know how that's possible, but whatever. Decedent's social media posts. Decedent's Instagram live post after Unruly Citizens concert. Video exhibit of decedent's July 2019 Instagram live social media post discussing the incident at Unruly Citizens concert. This evidence is not an extraneous offense or bad act committed by defendant Conway and therefore not subject to Rule 404B. These statements prove ill will and prior hostilities between the parties and are contextual evidence of the feud. So if that live stream that's clipped, if there's more to it, then what? If you said, man, I was shooting the lights out yesterday, right? And I just clip it right there. Let's use me, for example. And I say, man, I was shooting the lights out yesterday. Boom. Does that mean I just shot them damn lights out? Could it be maybe I was playing basketball? So I'm trying to understand what the hell that's even supposed to mean. Y'all not really doing the shit that y'all supposed to do. You just taking anything out and you just say, oh, because of this date right here, this matches up to say this and to say that. So if he has an Instagram post from the day before or the day after, would that work too? All right, man. I'm not, listen, y'all already know me. I'm never pro-prosecution ever. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. They better have some snitches that can break this shit down, not no quote-unquote gang experts, because we done seen gang experts, like in the Young Thug case, get BTA. Are evidence that directly speaks to the charged offense and proves prior ill will and hostilities between the parties, conspiracy between defendant Conway and co-conspirator Moore, and their motive and intent. C, shirt. Audio exhibit of co-conspirator Moore's music audio recording titled Shirt, released on August 5th, 2021. The lyrics are statements made by co-conspirator made during and in furtherance of the conspiracy and are evidence that directly speaks to the charged offense and proves ill will and hostilities between the parties, conspiracy between defendant Conway and co-conspirator Moore, and their motive and intent. So then why ain't Trap Boy Freddy arrested then? I mean, I'm assuming they're just going to say, oh, he didn't pay any money, so he can just troll. Is that what it is? Photographic evidence from co-conspirators and other associates' music release, Harder Than Yours. Photographic exhibits from defendant Conway's associate, Jose Bodega's Hereinafter Bodega music video recording titled Harder Than Yours, states exhibit 1036 through 1040. This evidence is not an extraneous offense or bad act committed by defendant Conway and therefore not subject to Rule 404B. The photographic exhibits serve to corroborate state witness testimony regarding the association between GRC members and depicts a known GRC trap house where the shooter's vehicle was stored, where the shooter returned after the murder, and where the evidence of the murder was destroyed. Okay. That's That's some good evidence, I ain't gonna hold you. First Day Out, photographic exhibits from the shooter's music video recorded titled First Day Out. The evidence is not an extraneous offense or bad act committed by defendant Conway and therefore not subject to Rule 404B. The photographic exhibits serve to corroborate state witness testimony regarding. None of that sounds like evidence. It sounds like assumptions. So he knows this person said this and said that and all that. And then I'm curious about the statements that were made from the hospital bed because according to Yella Beezy, he ain't say shit about nothing. So if Yella Beezy never confirms there's a rivalry, and we heard Mo3 say there ain't a rivalry, there ain't no problem and all this shit, if we introduce Mo3's lyrics that say there's no issue, there's no static, what you got, Rainwater? Who purposely told y'all he's coming in to say all of this shit? Oh, okay. All right, we're gonna see, man. I don't know. I'm gonna assume the state better have an ace up their sleeves and just flash it out like that. Because if they don't, I hate to say it this way, you're going to essentially waste everybody's time. Somebody in that courtroom better be a co-defendant turned cooperator because that's the only way this shit makes any sense. But I ain't see it in none of the filings, so until proven otherwise, I don't know, bruh. And then the part of the evidence was destroyed and all of this shit, they never say, oh, this person destroyed the evidence, this person did that. So you don't even have proof of the person who destroyed all this shit that y'all want. Wouldn't that be important, right? I don't know, man. I'm just a hood lawyer, not a real lawyer. But hey, if you like what we do, consider hitting that subscribe button and pressing that bell too, so we can bring you that hot news. But yeah, bro, I don't know, man. I'm a believer of a bunch of things, but in this instance, this sounds like some assumptions. Let me put this in front of you, Judge, and then paint the pictures and all of this shit. There's no sworn affidavits or anything that's going to come in and say this, and that. You're not talking about you're going to introduce this to gang experts and gang testimony and all of this shit and cooperating witnesses and all this. So none of this stuff exists as I see it. But maybe y'all could point to something else that obviously I'm missing. I'm not paid off by anybody, so there's that part. I know that rumor gets thrown out there a lot. I ultimately believe wholeheartedly that it's possible it's a 50-50 with this, with Yella Beezy basically, dare I say, getting found guilty. I think it's a coin flip because why wait this long? They must have found and got their hands on something that makes them go, we could try this. But just because they're trying it, it doesn't automatically mean guilt. So there's that part. I don't know, but maybe y'all do. But yeah. Anyways, click right here, though, to see how NBA Youngboy is beefing, man. Again, with Future, with Blueface. People he's supposed to be getting along with. Maybe he beefs with Nick Cannon next because they all got hella kids. Click right there for that video or click right here for the playlist, and I will catch y'all in the next one.